Leo Walder for Kit Guru, here with EKWB, the liquid cooling people. We're in their suite in the Hyatt at Computex. They've got a bunch of stuff on the go, and it's also quite a busy suite. I want to go over there where the coolant is, but there's people there, so we're going to start here. We have the InWin S-frame, I call it case. It's a piece of metal with a layering system on show. Basically, it's a demonstration of the fact that EKWB is doing an awful lot of RGB. So the components are actually quite familiar, but the block and the D5 pump are RGB. These are products already on sale, so in a sense, nothing new, but does look fairly funktastic. No two ways about that. On the shelf behind, we've got a whole bunch of stuff. This is of interest because it's an RGB 360 kit, so it's one of their kits, but it's RGB. You're going to hear that quite a lot for the next week, I think. That res glass D5 pumps, parts we've seen before, but the RGB kit is new. This system is immersive coolant, so if you look around here, you can see the coolant is actually boiling. It's not realistically going to be a product anytime soon, if ever. It's one of those look what we can do things. So the system is submerged, and frankly it just looks wrong. I mean, it's a terrifying thing to see, we can agree on that. But it is a full PC in a relatively large box. I was going to say underwater, it's not water of course. Let's step over here where it's quiet. Blocks, lots of blocks. Velocity is the new line of blocks, covers the usual sockets. So we've got Intel, we've got Threadripper, we've got RGB. Velocity, pinning down what exactly is velocity is a little bit tricky. So for example, we've got chamfers. We've got this plate that covers the CPU socket. So when your Threadripper block is on the socket, you can't see the socket with the hold down levers and such like, which is cosmetically very neat. On the other hand, you'll also note RGB logo. And if you pull the plug, it looks like a regular EK logo. So that's all very neat and tidy. And as you go from left to right, the RGB gets more layering, obviously metal, nickel, and then plexi. And if you have a black top on it, which is regular black plastic acetal, it's less intense. Light comes from the side. This is full on, oh wow. That is a velocity block that looks at first glance very similar to a Supremacy. RGB connector, regular 4-pin. However, the fundamental difference between Velocity and Supremacy is that Supremacy you have removable innards. You can dismantle it. This is essentially one part. So you take the 4 screws out of the back, top plate comes off, the inside sealed by O-ring is one piece. Easier to clean, and you're less likely to get bubbles inside that don't want to come through the system. So easier and cheaper for them to manufacture as well. So design is what counts there. This is interesting. This cold plates for the new blocks. That is a regular cold plate, essentially flat. The part that contacts the CPU heat spreader is essentially flat. You can feel it with the thumbnail. That is for those of us who wish to delid their CPUs, obviously Intel CPUs, common sense says, and that then goes directly on the die, in one, held down with the standard Intel hold down. No shim required, so you don't need the power part or any such. You buy the block from EKWB, install, bop wop, diddly wop. And they claim the tolerances for manufacturing that, no problem whatsoever, which is fairly blooming awesome. So that, of huge interest to overclockers. Over here, this is a prototype of their sort of systems. Now, this does not yet have a name, so it's one of their all-in-ones out of the image of Predator and such like, but it's been revised, so it looks incredibly swish. The cover plates, even though it's a prototype, the cover plates and such like look amazing. The housing's lovely. It's an SPC pump. We've got SATA power down the end, we've got fan controls and RGB controls. The cables will be tidied up for the final version without a shadow of a doubt, but if we hide the cables, there we go. And that, he says, dripping some fluid. is going to come with a velocity block. So that's looking interesting. The very first versions, the Predator, had leak problems. They claim those problems are way behind them now, and it's moving on and moving on. Monoblocks for graphics cards, or rather, graphics card. Try that again. Monoblock, graphics block, new designs, primarily as cosmetic. I mean, if you look at that monoblock, you'll see the innards actually look quite familiar. But the fact you've got the RGB-ness, you've got the plexi, it's cosmetically quite different to what they've been doing in recent times. And so too is the graphics block. But you're into the details, things like the manifolds on the edge and such like. It's different, it's not radically different. But for radically different, we go to wood. It's wood. Now, if we take that CPU block cover, and you'll notice it says Koenig, as in EK, as in EKWB. Apparently the boss of EKWB for many years has been working with wood. They finally decided to actually make it a product to do liquid cooling. Now, clearly this is entirely cosmetic. So we have here EKWB's own case. Apparently they made 100 and they've got 20 left, and they're going to use them for various shows and such like, and it's got wood on the faceplate. There we have oh, it's a NUC, that's right, wooden NUC and a vulture. But graphics card blocks, pen, CPU blocks with wooden housings, these are all going to be one-offs. These are not going to be available from the EKWB shop off the shelf, none of them. And it sounds like there'll be a premium. So obviously the machining for the EK parts for their own CPU blocks, they know this. So call that $100, euros, pounds for the standard part. The custom version with wood, pick the wood you like, sir, about 200. If you want to send in your own part to be done as a custom part, they'll have a setup charge, they'll have to measure the thing, so more, much more. But those essentially premium around 100%. Thermally, the wood makes absolutely no difference. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just very different. Quite mind-boggling. Fans. These are Varda RGBs with, looks like wobbly center rotors, but actually it's the stickers aren't on straight, so that's not good. The fans themselves we like. Vardas are brilliant. I believe these are 500 to 2200 RPM, but in a sense we know about them. We know about Vardas, and now they're with RGB. These, on the other hand, are Varda X3Ms. You'd have to be blind to not see the kind of Noctua type of bumper thing going on. There are 4 colours on show at the moment, and there'll be 4 more coming. So those are white, black, orange and red. And we've been through the other 4 colours, and I've currently forgotten them. Well, embarrassed myself trying to remember them. They are more expensive than the regular Vardas. If the regular Vardas are £20, euros a piece, these are 30, I recall. Anyway, more is the point. And they've got fan control and addressable RGB. Interesting. And those are 25mm thick in the regular styly. InWin case, because EKWB has a tie-up with InWin, it's just like a cross-industry thing. They've displayed products with InWin for some while. They show their products in InWin cases, and now we have a graphics block with an InWin logo. InWin has nothing to do with graphics. This is really them working with their friends, is the best way of putting it. InWin partner, InWin logo. Coolant, EK Cryofuel Solid. This is coolant. I thought this was paint inside, but I'm assured this is the regular coolant inside these reservoirs. The claims are it's an absolutely solid pastel. The colour does not drop out whatsoever. This is not pumping, this is just static, and yet the colour's not dropping out. So whatever particles are in there ain't dropping out. They claim they've done extensive R&D. It's not abrasive, it's not horrible, it's not corrosive. And there have been a few coolants recently that have had a few problems. This coolant, they claim, just works. Big claim, really big claim, and yet it looks absolutely mind-boggling. There'll be more colours coming, but that looks fascinating, and I want some of that. Velocity block for Threadripper, just in situ, looking lovely. So doing a tour of the room, we've got a load of stuff on show, new blocks, new coolant, wood, new fans. EKWB has got a massive range of products, but RGB quite clearly, as with so many things at Computex, is absolutely one of the themes of the show. If you like this video, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. If you want more from Kit Guru, click to subscribe, hit the bell button, you'll be alerted to more videos as they become available. I'm Leo Warder for Kit Guru. This is EKWB Computex 2018.